Hello everybody. This time we're going to go and hiking up in the mountains.
It's going to be in the mountains of Braunwald. This is in the Canton Glarus, pretty much the very easterly portion of Switzerland.
Okay, let's get going. We're just stopping along the way to take a picture and we'll carry on. Now, as Karen mentioned, Braunwald is in Canton Glarus, so we took the car to Lindtal. From there we took the train up to Braunwald, which is also the next village. From there we're going to take the gondola all the way up, and then to where the green marks is, that's where the hiking trails are.
Finally, we're out of the car and putting on the hiking shoes down in the valley. Off we go.
Well, we're off and up we go. It was actually quite an interesting ride, and they also, you see a little cart in the back, that's where also they haul supplies for some of the restaurants.
Out of the Bahn carrying us up the mountain into the forest, and boy was it steep. Paul was our navigator, and off we went, up, up, and up. Hip flexors resist.
There's Karen, ready to march on. Then we came to this tunnel. Drop a little ball in there and it just go round and round and down to the alongside the wall. And there were some other folks there, and the kids thought there was the cat's meow. Well, we're all kind of taking a rest there. This is the gondola we're going to end up going down eventually. On this trail marker they had this sign on the bottom that was advertising for the restaurant, where it would say, well, you got another 20 minutes to go, and on and on. But anyway,
We made it, and it's coffee time. Some free time. This kleine Freiheit is little freedom. And this woman was sketching out in the cold.
But she enjoyed herself, and that was the whole point of it, isn't it? Well, we're enjoying the view while we're having our coffee and warming ourselves up a bit, and best of all, we're resting our legs.
Yeah, and it conjures up songs. Rocky Mountain High. The hills are alive with the sound of music. Insert your favorite mountain song here. Just beautiful.
Unfortunately, it was cloudy, as you can see, so the snow is not as brilliant white as you get when it's a sunny day. But nonetheless, it was great. Well, we're carrying on up the mountain. Here we go. As you can see, the trail is pretty narrow there, and but we carry on, still smiling. Just like a couple of billy goats there going up the mountain. Oh, time for a breather. There's a rocky road here.
I was really happy to be using those sticks. They really helped me, that Paul lent. Here we have a little plant from the buttercup family, Ranunculus. I can't help it, but the naturalist in me is stuck wanting to say that there's 1,750 species of Ranunculus in the world, from buttercups, spearworts, and water crowfoots. Amazing. They have even anti-inflammatory applications, but internally side effects can be vomiting and diarrhea, so not a good idea internally. But they do represent joy and energy. Here's another species from the Gentian family, and it usually blooms in spring. This intense blue hue really attracted me. With my eye, I could see solid blue, but with the camera lens picked up a variegated turquoise in the blue. Quite remarkable. It's usually in the spring and often used in herbal medicine. Its English name would be bitterwort, so it's an astringent quality. On another trip, we might get to see the autumn crocus, which is out at this time of year too, used in the making of saffron in the French part of Switzerland. The intense gaze of the photographer capturing the mountains. We are so thankful that the fog has lifted up here and we get to see mountains
Well,
so clear.
One of the things we noticed that way up there, there's this bridge, and you can see, get the idea how far up it is. And here's a close look up. I didn't take the picture, but
I didn't take the picture.
That's how it looks way up there. Of course, when Paul saw that, he kind of panicked. He quickly got the map out and says, I got to check this out. I don't want to end up having to climb way up there and across that ladder. But here is what the Via Ferrata actually looks like. So we're walking on the lower red line, and you see that the hike actually goes over to the gondola, the last top end of the gondola. We ended up taking that one going back down. Here he's looking back down where the restaurant is where we had that nice coffee. And well, as you can see, we've been doing a bit of walking, and it looks like there's a bit of a storm brewing. The wind started to pick up. This is the town of Lindt. You can see the river Lindt. It had all valleys named after the river. There's a few pictures what it looks like on a sunny day. The village of Braunwald. It's actually more, seems to me like a whole scattering of chalets where people just come on holidays and weekends. This is the Grand Hotel. As you can see, there's no cars allowed in the village, so it's just horse and buggy. And you can see how it looks like in the winter time. It looks like you got the snow tires on. Well, even the photographer is headed for today, so and he's kind of packing it in. Now this is a map of Weißtannen, and it's a valley. It's actually not that far from the other valley where we're in, but it's very narrow. And here's a map of a hiking trail, and it looks like it's not all that bad until you looked at the elevation. It says, oh wow, gotta go up 900 meters. Well, 900 meters, that's a lot of up and down. So I think what we'll do is we'll might just do that another day. We'll talk just.
So we're here in the village of Weistannen on the invitation of Mark and his wife Hildegard. Mark is a cousin of Ernest, and it was. I also want to say that Weistannen means white spruce. So there are many spruces here, and that this little village is a place where they make a lot of herbal remedies. So it was quite intriguing to be in that store. Mountain air brings hunger, and here we are. We have this lovely soup made by Hildegard and her daughters, Lara and Anna, and there was a pumpkin squash type soup with beautiful roasted seeds. They're quite large compared to ours, and also beautiful platters of salami,
cheese and salami.
and Dad was,
Yoo-hoo!
it was yoo-hoo-y. Yoo-hoo-y! And we had enough energy to go hiking a little further into the Weisstannental.
Well, now that we had a good meal, it's time to start walking. Well, we could go east, but that's a barn up way up there. It's too hard. So let's go west. Well, the cows are still munching on their lunch. Well, now isn't that a nice view from the front porch of Mark and Hildegard's place?
Waterfalls rushing down too. Quite an amazing sound.
Now we're traveling up the valley. We did the smart thing. We took the car. Well, we're at the other end and started looking around, and I think there's a few surprises coming up.
Here we have the mushroom from fairy tale books, the red agaric, the fly mushroom, is actually poisonous and even hallucinogenic, but liver and kidney toxins. So not a good idea, just for viewing. However, when it's finished its life cycle, it usually portends into mushrooms like porcini following in its wake. So it's a good place to go mushroom hunting after this one has finished.
This is kind of a peculiar thing, and I thought maybe it was people won't walk into it at night, but actually it is a break for when they're sliding stuff down from the mountainside.
Another view of the valley looking the opposite direction, and little dog Ellie getting in on the picture too. She never needed a leash. She was happy to roam and never strayed far.
Now they also installed I guess it's an electric power station to produce electricity from the creek. Here you can see where the water discharges back into the creek. I thought that was quite clever. You can also see how there's a lot of waterfalls. Now, one thing I'm surprised, that lonely tree up there, how they were made it over the years. And here we're taking pictures of some gems, and which is the actual proper name is chamois, so it's a family, the goat antelope, and they were actually hunted to extinction in 1612, between 1612 and 1633, and then they reintroduced them in the 8th of May 1911, which they reintroduced them back into the area, and so the ones you see there are great grandkids. Apparently their average age, if they don't get killed or fall into an avalanche or so, they're about 17 years. So we traveled around Switzerland. We saw a lot of things, and who knows what the future brings, but we'll just keep soaring and look for other exciting times. So long, and I hope you enjoyed the slide. Bye.